Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Anything Blows. My name's Dika, and today I'm proud to be joined by one of the best cruiserweights in the country and someone that's taken over the scene, Lewis Oakford. Lewis, how you doing, my brother?
I'm good, my friend. How are you?
Yeah, great to finally meet you. I would say a fellow, but I'm not Arsenal, but another fellow football fan, which you don't come across many of those in boxing. But yeah, you're an Arsenal fan, and that's sick. And do you want to repeat what you said off the camera?
Well, I said it's our season this season. You get me? North London has always been red, but London is red. And yeah, it's ours for the taking, man. You get me? North London born and raised as well. So obviously, yeah, I'm from North London originally. So yeah, stable at Arsenal all the way.
Yeah, not a glory hunt to support your local club. And same here. I'm born and raised
Definitely
in
not a
East
glory
London.
hunter, bro.
Yeah.
With what we've been going through for the last 20 years, I'm definitely not a glory hunter.
No, no, no. And you know what? Because everyone says it, and I'll make the joke with you, but you know what? Even where I'm from and just going around in 2018, 2019, after Wenger left, everyone said, oh, I'm done with football. I'm done with Arsenal. For the past 3 years, 4 years, everyone was out of it. The second you come back and a chance to win the chance you finish second and you're about to win the league, yeah, people jump back on a bandwagon. But that's why I can respect people
I
like you.
know.
And it's no disrespect, but you support your team thick and through, whether you're
Through the thick and
Europa
thin, trust
League,
me,
whether you
man.
finish the eighth, or whether you're title contenders.
Yeah, exactly that. That's what it is, man. You get me. You got to stand by a team, no
Hmm.
matter what. You know what I mean? Obviously, we should have. There's times through the agonizing years that we should have obviously won the league a few more times, but it is what it is, man. You get me? Where we've always been a club that's a little bit. We've never really been financed as much
Hmm.
as the other top four teams, so it was always a bit of a struggle for us. But now we're in a great place, man. And if we don't win a trophy this season, it's going to start getting really disappointing. And so like even though we're on form and we're doing really well, if we don't lift a trophy, and if we're not like competing in the Champions League, like nearly winning it, getting to finals, or even taking the Premier League trophy this season, it's going to start getting to like being a bit of a failure in my eyes because we've got the squad for it. Do you know what I mean? And that's the problem, man. When you've got a really good squad, you've got to capitalize. And I'm hoping that in these next couple of years with our young squad, we should be lifting some trophies, man, for real.
I love that. And I said that as well. It's not only Arsenal fans, but people in general, because I said Arsenal's got not only the team to do it, but I feel like obviously the saying goes third time the charm, but you generally have the
Mm.
chance. I do believe, obviously, without doubt, every time a season comes about now, City's always favourite to win it. But can they do it 5 times in a row?
Mm.
And also League Cup, FA Cup, and Champions League. And let's talk about
Mm.
that there. League Cup, I think you've got Bolton at home next. I think the League Cup could be yours.
Yeah, we'll take the League Cup. You know what I mean? Obviously, we've won like the FA Cup a few times we won it, yeah, we won it a good few times, but it's time to win the league. That's really obviously if we
Mm,
won the Champions League, that'll be amazing. Or we haven't won
yeah.
the Champions League, so if we won that, that'll be amazing. But it's time to win the league. It's time to win the league now. We've got the squad for it, so it's time, man. You get me? This season now with Man City, or they've been dominating the league for the last like 5 years. Champions League, you name it, all the cups pretty much. They've been pretty much dominating in every competition. It's time now where I feel like Man City could just have an off season. They might not have. Hopefully they get. No, not praying anyone gets injured, but hopefully, like you get me, De Bruyne,
Yeah,
his
Haaland.
ankle or something, and he's out for like half the season, and we can make something work. But yeah, man, let's hope, man. God willing, God willing.
And the funniest thing was when the season started, I saw a post or a meme on Instagram, and it was promoting Chelsea versus City in a pub, and it said 115 charges versus 115 players.
Come on. Yeah,
Yeah,
man. Chelsea struggling, man. They're
yeah,
struggling with it.
and the FA Cup, obviously, we'll talk about after, but you and United dominate that, and you reckon you can win the FA Cup this year?
Easily, like with our squad, we can win any of the cups. It's just about mindset, I think. Do you know what I mean? As we get to the back end of the season, the young players we've got, it's just about obviously last season was many of pretty much all of our players, that was their first time like in a situation where they was gonna win something. Like
Mhm.
they're young players. Obviously, there's a couple other players there that have obviously won things before, but majority of those players, on form players, the Sakas, Martinelli's, like that was their first taste of what it was like to win a major trophy. And I think that it's towards the back end of the season, tired legs, and we might have switched off a little bit. And then I think we dropped points, with Aston Villa. And I think it was that game there that when we lost 2-0 last season to Aston Villa. If we would have just won, that would have pretty much been us winning the league. But sometimes it's just all about that one game when it's that close at the top. So hopefully this season now we would have learnt from that, and we'll be a little bit more conditioned mentally to see it out. So
And
yeah,
I
man.
could turn this into a football podcast because I'm absolutely loving this, Lewis, because
Yeah,
football's all I talk about. And I've got my West Ham flag from about 10 plus years ago
yeah,
over there in the corner. But talk about it there, Champions League. You came short last year again against Bayern Munich, and it was a competition that could have been won by you lot. And I think you were heavy favourites
yeah.
going into it after your current on the bookies odds, your third favourite after City, Real Madrid, your third favourites to win a Champions League. First, I'm going to ask
Yeah.
this: do you agree with the new format, or do you miss the old style?
No, I agree with the new format. I do.
And do you think it makes it more entertaining? Because, like I said previously, you'll have pot one, pot two, pot three, pot four. So it benefits the higher clubs, it benefits the bigger clubs, and there weren't small clubs. Now anyone can go. And also in the Europa League and Conference League, no one can drop down. So if you're out, you're out.
Yeah, yeah. It makes it a little bit more interesting, doesn't it? You know what I mean? And a bit more competitive, a bit more interesting. So we'll see how it goes as well.
And
And
we.
I'm a bit gutted about last season as well with the Bayern Munich loss, because Bayern Munich wasn't even on form Bayern Munich last season as well.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? They didn't even win. Don't get me wrong, Harry Kane was on fire and all that, but they didn't even win their league, like, which has always been a one horse race for the last pretty much 10 years. And
Yeah.
like that one season they actually didn't win the league. They had to have knocked us out of the Champions League. So it was just a bit like, yeah, I was gutted. I was really gutted over that, because that was a Bayern Munich team that was easily beatable if we just would have had a little bit more of that mentality. But again, being involved in all competitions for us, a young squad, it's all about experience for us. That's how I sort of see it. So I'm hoping that last season was a massive experience for the boys, and going forward this season, I think we'll be a little bit better mentally to tackle it. So yeah, I'm really, really hoping for big things this season, man. God
And I was
willing.
unfortunate, God willing as well, because the Champions League final was at Wembley. Nothing would have been sweeter to lift it in
Oh
London, but
man, that would have been so amazing. Imagine it.
uh,
Imagine North London would have been roaring.
taking over London indeed. And talk about that. So we're going to go here. Your signings. Someone's gone out which had a soft spot to my heart, because you don't get more academy players anymore that have been through the club since they're 10 years old and they've left. What did you make of Emil Smith-Rowe going to Fulham?
It's just one of them ones, you know what I mean? To be honest with you, I like him. You know what I mean? I've always liked him, but it's tough to see when you see like your academy players like that go. But Fulham's a good place for him. He'll get regular football. You know what I mean? Like, for me, like when players go to teams like Fulham from big clubs like us, and all the top fours teams, like, I feel like it's a good lease for them, from an individual standpoint. They get to go get regular football, week in, week out. They develop as a player, and they get to see out and be involved, man, doing what they love to do. At the end of the day, players want to play. Do you know what I mean? They want to play week in, week out, and he'll get that. He'll get that chance. So yeah, I wish him all the best. Obviously, another signing that we had, obviously bringing Sterling in to
Mm-hmm.
to the club as well. I didn't know what I thought about it initially, but do you know what? If Sterling can get back to his days of playing how he played at Man City, um, with that link up play, with our with Odegaard's, with Saka, I think that he can mix it with them. He's got quite quick feet, and he kind of got similar styles, similar play. So, I'm thinking that he'll be a good player to bring on. I don't know how many games he's really going to get week in, week out, but I think he will definitely be able to be a good addition, especially a Premier League winner. Hopefully try and fill that void that we might need at certain points in the season. So I think that initially I thought, nah, you know what, I don't really know about this, but thinking about it, he's an experienced Premier League winner. He's a cup winner, with a massive team like Man City, and obviously he was at Man City when Arteta
Ben,
was under Pep Guardiola,
that's what was
so
in
they're going
my
to have a
mind.
good bit of chemistry. Yeah, so it's a good bit of chemistry there. So when I start to deep it, it might work out nicely. He might know his role, And I think that Sterling can be a key player for us to win the league this year. And it might, people might not agree with me, but I think that he could be a very key player for us, especially towards the latter end of the season.
And last few questions on the football topic. I want to mention it there. He's one of the first footballers I met back in 2018. I met a few at Upton Park, but at the London Stadium, he was one of the first few I met. Mikel
Yeah.
Merino, been a huge supporter of his. I've watched him in the under-21 Euros for Spain. I think it was under-17s. He's played for Spain recently. I think he won it. I'm not sure if he was in that squad, but Mikel Merino's a beast, and he done well at Real Sociedad. What do you make of him? And obviously now you've got two Mikels. You got a manager and you got a midfielder.
Yeah. Yeah, do you know, it's good. I didn't really get to watch too much of him. Do you know what I mean? So it'll be nice to see him in the mix and see what he's really about. Yeah, man, I mean, all for it. At the end of the day, anything that's going to give us a boost and give us that additional push, just to give a bit more depth to our squad, I'm all for it. Do you know what I mean? And I'm just wish health and fitness upon all of our players so we don't get any injuries or niggles, especially towards second half of the season. And I think that that's going to be the difference. And we're going to be able to pull it out of the bag, definite.
Love that. And before we conclude on the football, what did you make of the Euros this summer?
Yeah, it's it was obviously disappointing. Obviously, I wanted England to win. It's a shame, really, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's one of them ones. It's like it's felt like it's meant to be for the last couple of competitions now. Obviously, I think from the World Cup 2018, was it 2018?
Mm-hmm.
We got to the semi-finals, and then obviously we got knocked out to Italy in the Euros. Yeah, man, it's a bit disappointing, but I just think that is it Southgate? I don't know. I think Southgate's done one of the best jobs for any England manager, so we can't really knock him too much. I think it's just a mixture of the attitude of the players when they need to step up. There wasn't really there, and but then again, you can't take that away from Spain because they're a top club, and to beat any team in the final against Spain are going to struggle and could well lose. So it's not so much taking anything away from Spain. It's just that when I just think England might lack a little bit of fight at the right times, a bit of organisation, a bit of just chemistry. I don't know if that's anything to do with how competitive the Premier League is. Sometimes I think that because the Premier League is so competitive, when you bring all of those players from all the different clubs that are so rivaled against each other in one team, it's hard for them to switch off from that competitive rivalry from the league and then sort of gel together. But every obviously the Spanish league has it too, and Italian league have it too. I think there's a little bit more togetherness with all the other, like with the Germans, the Italians and Spanish. They've just got like a natural unity. But with England, I think it's just a little bit more rivalry. I don't know, and I think that might hinder the chemistry that they're supposed to have with each other. But because that's what it looked like anyway. Sometimes they just looked a little bit like they didn't read. They was a bit lost. You know what I mean? At times, whereas Spain pretty much was comfortable throughout the whole game, and so the right team won. So I can't say that there was that England should have won or deserved to win. It's just a shame that they don't like step up when it's like when they should. But we're getting there slowly but surely, closer and closer, I guess.
And it's unfortunate because Jordan Henderson's not there, but I'm pretty sure he might be retired now. I'm not sure, but Harry Maguire wasn't there. Jack Grealish, experienced players weren't there. Rashford as well, and because it was a mixture of young players, and like you said, that the 2018 World Cup that sat on my heart for a good few years, and that Kieran Trippier free kick is when life peaked, and we thought we were going to the World Cup final, and unfortunately didn't happen. And then the Euros final against Italy was like meant to be, and I don't think we all sunk it in until maybe we beat Germany in the last 16, we beat Ukraine, but once we beat Denmark when we were trailing 1-0, we kind of felt it. And to score early against Italy again, we've done amazing, and Southgate's done amazing. Obviously, you see the meme on Instagram, the best England manager is Sam Allardyce, 100% record, but apart from that, it's
Sam,
big up Sam. And I think Sam was my first West Ham manager when I went to watch a West Ham game in 2012. I think it was Sam in the dugout. And also it's just the Italy, it was unfortunate. Then we go to the quarterfinals against France in Qatar. it was unfortunate. That game could have been finished, but again, Kane against Lloris, they've been playing for years. They know where they're going against each other. And then also this one, mixture of young players, because you've got to play them at one time. You can't start playing them when they're 25, 26. He done amazing. So did so many
Yeah.
other players. And also, just to put on that matter of note, it is unfortunate, and everyone makes a stereotypical jokes. Once we go 1-0 up, we go down. But in my personal opinion, we done really well. I never go against any manager. I never go against a squad. But what many people said, how we played in a group stage. For me, we played like City or like Liverpool in that first half against Holland. That was the best football we played all tournament.
Yeah.
That first half against Holland, and Spain won it undefeated. And
Mm.
it's unfortunate. It is unfortunate, but let's see where we go from here. And 2028, the Euros is back in England and UK and Northern Ireland, so hopefully we can bring it home then. If not in America, that would be a beauty to win it out there as well. And yeah, like
Yeah.
I said, it's
And we're
just a
getting
dream.
closer.
Yeah.
We're getting closer, and there's no denying that we have the quality. Once you got we've got some young players that are growing, that getting stronger, a bit more experience behind them, and I think we're definitely gonna win. We're definitely gonna win something. In the next couple of tournaments, I would imagine. You know what I mean? The squad that we've got is just too good, too strong, too much talent there to see go to waste. It'll be a massive upset. It's just about who to be, who to have appointed. It would have been nice to see someone like Eddie Howe get the position. I feel like he'll be
Mm.
a good manager for the internet for our to the England squad. I've always felt like he'll be really good. Obviously, I can see that he's got his task and his role that he's fulfilling at Newcastle, but it'll just be great to see someone like that there. Quite a young manager, a proven. Um, a proven manager as well, and just a chance to gel with these players and do something with them, because he's done really well everywhere he's gone. He just needs a bit of glory to go with it now. And but yeah, so that's who I would like to see be appointed. But we'll have to see in it. But yeah, man, we'll see.
Also, before we move on, that's what was in my mind for the last few minutes, because I was like, not stuttering, but I was just trying to think. I think Peter Crouch said it, or I've watched a documentary at least 20 years ago, or whatever it was about. I think it was Crouch, and he said when you'd be called up for the national side, the northern players would stay, the northern clubs would stay with each other, the southern clubs would stay with each other, and you wouldn't really want to come across each other, like you were saying there, in Spain, in Italy, in
Yeah,
Barcelona, but in Germany, they're tight knit,
yeah,
they're same, and they want the best for the country. And I think
they
they're
do.
more familiar and they understand it. Where in England, you got that rivalry. So you come and you see an
There is
Arsenal player, you see a Spurs player, you see a City player. It's just
exactly.
a bit tense and awkward. And
It
yeah.
is. Yeah, yeah, and that's what I think. And I think it's hard for them to switch off when it comes to tournament games. When it comes to big games, they've still got that competitive rivalry in their mind from how they, because at the end of the day, the club football that's their bread and butter. That's what they live for, pretty much. Obviously, it's an honour to play for your country, of course, and I'm sure that they try their hardest. But mentally, going through a whole season of having that one sort of mindset of being with your club, and your club is your club and it's against every other club, like, in
Mm.
the league. It's just you against them. And then to switch off from that and and try and keep that chemistry, it's hard to do. You know what I mean? So I think it's more of a psychological thing for the England squad to be able to just to just drop all of the rivalries of the league and just focus on winning the Euros or the Worlds. And that's just what I think they struggle with, because it's just the chemistry on the field for players of that quality isn't good enough. And you see it sometimes, it just looks like they're playing like novices, and you think, what's going on? Like, it's like they just haven't got the communication on point like they do at their club teams and stuff. So, you know what I mean? It's one of them ones, man. It can happen both ways as well. Do you know what I mean? You can get Paul Pogba that wins the World Cup, and the chemistry in that team at that moment and in that time was amazing. And then he goes to Man U and they're all over the gaff. They don't know what they're doing,
Yeah.
and he ain't a part of a proper winning squad there. It's just something's going wrong. So it can happen both ways, isn't it? But it's just, I think it's happening the other way with England, and I think they're just not switching off from the from that rivalry they've got in the Premier League, man. It's just such an intense and competitive league that it's just so tough to try and bring a load of top quality players from all of them
Mm.
teams that are just playing against each other to just try and now become friends and teammates and win
Mm,
together. It's tough
yeah.
to do that psychologically. From a psychological standpoint, it's tough to do. It's easy to put them on the pitch and say, you lot are great, play. But it's another thing switching off mentally from what it is that they're used to. So that's, yeah, man, it's mad. It's a mad game. Mental.
And
It's all mental. It's like boxing.
last few things before we go into boxing. So talk about that. I want to apologize as a West Ham fan because Sam Mullins and Harry Mullins were saying we'll get you a pint if you do us a favour on Sunday. And unfortunately, West Ham couldn't beat Man City. We came so close. And also Spurs. I don't want to say they ruined it, but I feel like 9 out of 10 chances Son scores that one chance Son had against City.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I want to ask you this here because I remember this being asked on Arsenal Fan TV 5 years ago, and the roles are reversed now. You have an opportunity to be in the Champions League final, and Spurs have a chance to be in the Europa League final. Would you rather have Arsenal win the Champions League, but Spurs also win the Europa League, or neither?
Nah, we can win the Champions League. Just listen, Spurs can take that trophy, bro. That's my. If we win the Champions League, Spurs can take that. That's theirs.
Yeah,
Hold that. Be proud of that. But the Champions League is the biggest prize in football. You feel me? Like bar the
yeah,
World Cup in
yeah.
football in general,
In
but in
club
club
football,
football,
yeah.
the Champions League is it's by like that Europa League compared to the Champions League is like looking at your little brother. Like, yeah, you happy with that? And that's what we'll basically be looking at with Tottenham. So I'll actually want them to win that Europa League if we win the Champions League, just so we can turn around and say, you know what I mean? It's a little brother
Yeah.
tactic. So yeah.
Congratulations, you got a trophy.
Yeah, like you got something finally. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? But we got the big brother one. You got the little boy one. So
yeah.
that's I would actually enjoy that.
And last thing, what do you make of West Ham as a club?
West Ham's a good team, man. I feel like West Ham though. It's funny because it's like they've had a lot of changes, of course, like over the years. I think they've always had a decent squad and just hadn't managed to make it click. Do you know what I mean? It kind of reminds me of us, just a little bit, obviously more mid-table, of course, but you've had some great players over the years and played some great football too. But you know what I mean? I think that it's like one season, you never know what you're going to get from West Ham. You never know. Right, every season, you don't ever like. You can get European, you can get Conference League. You can be sort of striving towards European football, and then the next season you could be like struggling for relegation. It's like what's going on? Do you know what I mean? And it's a bit up and down with it. But I'm hoping that you know what I mean. Because at the end of the day, West Ham, I've got a bit of a soft spot for West Ham, really. You know what I mean? Because they've never really been our direct rivals like that. I've never really looked at West Ham as like a team that's going to be winning the league anytime. But it will be nice to see them, be the conference and start to really look what they've done when they won the Conference League. That was really good for them. Do you know what I mean? To push on from there, Europas. It'd be nice to see West Ham stay consistently just above mid-table and compete for them trophies and get the Europas and the conferences and stuff. They deserve it at the end of the day. They're a massive club, so it'd be good to see them be a bit more consistent.
Thank you, my brother. Appreciate that. And that kind words coming
Yeah.
from you. And yeah, just talk about that because I could talk about West Ham for hours, but that's highly appreciated. And that's the main thing, consistency. And we were talking about titles when we started off the interview. Title fights. Lewis Oakford is fighting Deevorn Miller on October the 5th on a TM14 show at York Hall for the Commonwealth silver title. As Arsenal going to win titles this year, are you going to add another title to that?
Yeah, man. We're me and Arsenal are winning titles this year. You feel me? So, and the new Commonwealth silver, good belt to get straight after my disappointing result last time out. I'm ready to bounce back in the best way possible, and I feel like going straight back into a big fight for me is a great thing for me. Do you know what I mean? It gives me that energy, that hunger, that get up and go, and I feel like it's just come at a great time. I've got myself to change my coach, of course, a new environments. We're in a great gym here up at Evolve Academy with Andy Gill. And just want to push on now and just go and showcase what it is that we've been working on. And really excited about it. Genuinely excited about this fight.
And for the fans that don't know, talk about the transition of gyms and how long you've been with Andy.
So yeah, me and Andy have been working now for the last 4 weeks properly. The transition has obviously come just over. I think that I felt like it felt right. I've known Andy for years way back on the amateur circuit. You know, we're talking going back to 2012, 13. You know, so we've always spoke over the years. It's just that obviously I took a slight different path, slight different route, and had a different coach. And I feel like it's just, in a way, the stars have kind of aligned. I think we've just kind of met at a point where it was like, you know what, this feels right. Let's work, and it just feels good right now to just, you know, be in this environment. It's another level. I'll be honest. And so we just cranked it up a notch, and it's just what I needed at this stage of my career to win titles. And yeah, man, it's just natural. It's very natural. Do you know what I mean? And I've settled in very, very, very quick. Yeah, obviously I know majority of the lads that's here anyways. From the amateur days as well. But yeah, a couple of new faces. It's just nice to just settle in, get to know everyone, and yeah, man, I'm feeling at home already. So yeah, man, still a little way out, but yeah, man, the 5th of October is approaching fast, and
Yeah,
I just can't wait to get in there.
just over 3.5 weeks time, and also you have current champions in your gym, and you have future champions and future world champions such as Yasser and Lewis Frimpong there. But let's go back, because this fight isn't just a regular fight. And when I say that, of course, it's a title fight contest. So that's what makes it different. But you have a little bit of history. So let's go back. Talk about the original contest with Deevorn Miller for your debut and how that went, because you've beaten before.
Yeah, I have beaten before. I've also beaten him in the amateurs as well in 2019. And then yeah, we met again on our debuts. Well, you know, and credit to him at the end of the day for taking the fight. I think that it was quite an unheard of thing to do for your pro debut to fight another debutant that's also a prospect that is coming to win titles as well. So it was you know, we just went against the grain, I guess, with that one there. Both of our opponents at the time had pulled out, and so you know, we just thought let's get it on. You know what I mean? I wanted to fight. I had a camp, so I was ready to go. And you know, he accepted the fight, and we got it on. And you know, I got my hand raised. Obviously, that's something that's motivated him. I think that win against him has motivated him to you know, for this fight to happen now. It's like it's come full circle, and it's probably even, you know, maybe even raised his bar a little bit and made him improve as a fighter because of that idea that I beat him. So you know, good on him. At the end of the day, he's done very well since that fight. He's gone on a massive winning streak, and he's landed himself into this position where he's fighting for a title, and I'm happy to fight for it as well. And I think that just that little bit of bad blood, I wouldn't say it's bad. I've got nothing against the guy, but you know, a bit of back and forth on Insta now and again. You know, he's been trying to chase this fight for a while, and I don't blame him. And now it's for a title. It just makes for so much more of a of an occasion of fireworks as well, and it's gonna bring out, I believe, the best in me 100%. And I hope it brings out the best in him, and I hope we make a great fight for the fans, and I hope boxing will win on the 5th of October, and we'll show something special. Definitely 10-round fight. Someone gets their hand raised to, you know, raise a title. It's got all the ingredients of a great fight. So I can't wait.
And does it go 10 rounds or less?
It can go less. It can go the full distance. I'm not gonna go looking for nothing, but I will be using my boxing that I've always had, that sometimes I neglect. But in this fight, I don't want to give away too much. But however it goes, I'll get my hand raised. And yeah, man, and I hope to put on a show and entertain everyone that's there.
And did you manage to watch Deevorn's last contest on the boxer show in the Palace?
I did. I was there actually at the Palace. I was there, and yeah, it was a very strange fight, to be honest. I think that the guy that he fought against just came out to had a quick blowout, and then he kind of just sort of give up a bit. But you know, that's not his problem. He done what he needed to do, and he got his hand raised. Obviously, the fight went how it went, and you know, onwards and upwards for both of us. And now we've landed ourselves in this situation. My last fight didn't go the way that I wanted it to. So for me, actually, I appreciate the fact that I'm being able to get myself back into a title fight. And in a way, it's that redemption against an old foe. So it's, yeah, like I said, it's got all the ingredients for a great fight. And yeah, that's why I'm really getting up for it, because it's a comeback fight for me in a way. And to get myself back in the mix, and back up the rankings and hopefully get the rematch with Hedges and and just chase the titles really. Do you know what I mean? I haven't got long left in this game. You know, I'm 33 years old. I've probably got a good 4 years. I lived a life. I stay healthy, so a good strong 4 years, and I want to try and do as much as I can in that 4 years and put all the wrongs right.
Briefly before we go on to your last contest, break down your four contests after, because I'm not asking it this way, and many people do, but it depends on the fight. Do you feel like you have a better record than Deevorn? And you've been in there with Ross McGuigan, who's been in there with Vidal Riley, and then Robbie Chapman, a great journeyman, and then Phil Williams twice.
Yeah, I think that I've definitely been in with the better opponents. I think Deevorn Miller's gone abroad with things. But he's got the knockouts that everyone loves to see. So, I can't fault him there. Has he fought anyone? No, he hasn't fought anyone. Have I fought real top opposition? I mean, if you're gonna, I can throw him in there. He's pretty rated. So, and I beat him, and I beat Ross McGuigan straight after I beat him. I wasn't supposed to fight Phil Williams on neither of those occasions, but just due to pullouts, I've had to fight him. He just basically came in and stepped in to save the show. So, a heavyweight, 4.5 stone heavier than me, moving around, and yeah, it was an experience. Who I wanted to fight at that time? No, obviously it wasn't, but it was just to keep the wheels in motion. And I think, yeah, Robbie Chapman. That's another fighter that I wasn't supposed to fight against. He's not really a cruiserweight. You know what I'm saying? So
No.
it was again the last 3 fights of my professional career. Obviously the Hedges. That was just a result. It was what it was. My first loss. But the 3 fights before that, none of those fights were supposed to go ahead. It was supposed to be other opponents, and unfortunately, this is boxing. Opponents pull out and things just fall apart sometimes. But there's always a journeyman that can come in and save the day, and it keeps you moving and it keeps you busy, and also and it gives you the numbers so you can then get accepted for titles. And that was pretty much why we took these fights, and then obviously we landed the Southern Area title shot, and it wasn't meant to be that time. And we pick up, we dust our shoulders off, and we keep it moving.
And I said to Andy the other day, John Hedges was in the arena at the top tier show, and I think he may have saw him, but I don't know if they bumped into each other. But talk about that contest, because it was a major platform, great title, but would you have found it weird because England Switzerland played, and there was like a little bit of a break between fights? Were you watching the game? Were you locked in on just training and focusing on the pads? How did it feel fighting that night? And then let's talk about the John Hedges contest, which unfortunately didn't go to plan and ended in a brutal head clash.
Yeah, no, it was a shame. Obviously, I know that it was good for the fans that the England game was playing. I wasn't paying attention to it at all, to be honest. I was in my dressing room just zoning out and preparing myself. Obviously the fight went how it went. I'm a bit disappointed in my performance. Don't get me wrong. I know I'm much better than that, and I didn't show that. And that's the. Sorry, bro. Sorry.
You're good.
Yeah. So and I didn't show it, and that's kind of where I was just disappointed with it. And obviously, I feel like there's really, like I said, I've got no excuse for it, because it's just sometimes you're just not showing you the version of yourself that you need to show to to get the job done, really. And I think that was what it was for me. You know what I mean? I didn't show what I know I can do, and so no matter how it started, even though it ended how it ended, and obviously a lot of my supporters would turn around and say, but you would have won the fight because it was only the 5th round, and if it would have been the whole 10 rounds, you would have won. But for me, I knew that from the get go, when I look it back in hindsight, I wasn't doing what I should have been doing. I didn't start fast enough. He landed on me a bit too much early on, and I kind of let him gain that momentum, and I let him get momentum in a fight that I shouldn't have let him have. And it was only just due to that that really he took the decision from round 1 to 5. You see what I mean? Because if I would have started early and put my foot on and didn't give him much to work off of, then he would have kind of been the one that was, on the back foot, or I would have been the one with the momentum. So it is what it is. Even though it went from round 1 to 5, you could still look at it and I can still judge my performance, and it just wasn't good enough in my eyes. I didn't show up enough, and I'm much better than that. And that's what I'm going to prove on the 5th of October. So that's what it's like, my redemption sort of fight, to show that, this is actually the mighty Oak. This is what Lewis Oakford can do. And it's just like I said, man, it's just, you got to come again. Otherwise, I would have just been down in the dumps, just kind of just whinging over the decision. And do you know what I mean? Letting that negative energy kind of get to me. But we haven't done that. I've got myself into a new gym, got a new coach, new environment. I've got that new hunger. And I'm back to where I need to be, and I'm enjoying boxing. I'm having fun with it. Do you know what I mean? And a happy fighter is a very dangerous one, and so that's where I am with things, man, mentally. So yeah.